Eunji Lee of Lysée in New York City, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me.
What are we going to make together today?
So today we're going to make a corn dessert. It's one of our bestseller item at Lysée. Depending on the days, like we're making like 100 pieces per day.
Nice. Corn is not something I think of for dessert.
But I love corn. It's actually one of my favorite ingredients for the sweet side and savory side.
So how does this begin here?
So I'm going to cut the corn kernel, and then we're only using fresh corn. It was the best to use the fresh corn because they have a very sweet nut flavor. When I was young, corn was our snack. In Korea, there are so many different ways that we were able to enjoy corn. Corn snacks and then corn cake, stuff like that.
So now what do you do with this fresh corn?
So I'm going to make a corn creme, which is the insert in the center of the corn dessert. So I'm going to cook the butter and the corn.
Where did you really learn to make pastry?
I went to France when I was like 18 years old because my dream was to be a pastry chef. I left Korea and then I left my family and parents to achieve that dream. With the butter and the corn, I want those two ingredients mixed very well. And you can see the color change a little bit to be more yellow. Then it starts to be brown at the bottom.
You start to get a little fond at the bottom. And then what's next?
So I'm going to pour the cream.
How long does that infuse the corn into the cream?
This one, I'm doing between 10 to 15 minutes.
Now we've used that cream with the corn, and what's next?
Now I'm going to make a mixture with the egg yolk and sugar. So I'm going to pour the egg yolk. And then once you put the sugar into the egg yolk, you have to stir it and then whisk it well when you break the egg yolk because it can be cooked quickly. So you have to be careful.
And this is going to provide some of that body custardy feel to it too, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a corn custard. I complete with the gelatin a little bit to have a firm texture. And then I'm going to add the butter as well.
That's very French of you, more butter.
Yeah. After remaking, we keep into the refrigerator for 24 hours to have a proper texture to use it. After that, we are able to do the building.
So before you mold it, you've gone ahead and made a cake that's at the base here, correct?
So exactly. There is a corn cake, corn crema that we just made it together. And then just a regular caramel.
No corn in your caramel?
No corn. No corn, because I think there is enough corn. At the bottom, we have a corn sablé. It's like a corn cookie dough. And then there's a corn mousse that we're going to use to mold. When I create the dessert, I'm thinking a lot for the flavor, but also for the texture. That's why we cut the cookies. It's kind of like crumbly texture, and then they have so many different texture in the mouth.
Yeah, there's so many different components going on here, each playing their own part, but in very different ways.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. So this is a corn mousse.
Okay.
So compared to the crema, this is more like airy and a very light texture.
And so then you drop into the mold here.
Yes. So the corn crema that we use, it's the center of the corn. Instead of having just one smooth, creamy texture, I think it's great to have some crunchy, soft and hard.
You did a cooking competition in France and you made a corn dessert. What was their reaction?
It was a long time ago. It was 2017. So it's kind of Top Chef pastry chef version in France. I went to the final. And I wanted to use corn. When they saw that chef judge, they came to me and they asked me, are you sure to use this ingredient? What are you doing with the corn? Are you sure with the corn ingredients? And then at the end, they really loved it.
Nice. About how long from beginning to end does it take to make one of these pastries?
So it's 3 days.
It's 3 days.
So
Why couldn't you make a signature dessert that's ready in a day? So you've got everything into the molds. What's next?
We're going to put this into the freezer for a few hours, and then once it's ready, we can unmold it, and then I'm going to pipe the corn kernel.
Awesome. Thanks. Well, we'll get this in the freezer. What do you finish the dessert with to make it look more like corn?
So for piping the corn kernel, I'm using the grilled corn cream.
Okay.
So we're using the fresh corn, the same thing, but we grill it.
Okay.
And then we infuse it, and then we make the cream with that. So I'm going to whip it into the mixer. So this one, it's if you see the color, it's more like brown. So it's more like roasted and nutty, like toasted flavor.
So that's the texture you're looking for there. That mold that we made is now unmolded after being in the freezer, and this is what it looks like.
So now with the corn cream, I'm going to pipe the corn, and for me, piping is as well, I enjoy as much as when I'm creating something. You don't need the commercial mold or anything. You can express whatever you want. I really enjoy it when I'm piping, but at the same time, I have a meditation
it's a
as
zen
well.
moment.
Yeah.
What was your goal with Lysée when you opened it?
I wanted to make something unique and looks like a gallery, because to me the pastry was edible art.
And it looks like beautiful, like a gallery when you come in here, and the way everything's displayed, it's super cool.
Thank you. I think it's really great to see people's face when they eat my dessert and then taste the cake. That's why we have an open kitchen. It gives me like a great energy to, keep running.
So now that you've piped these, we're not done yet, they go into the freezer, right?
Yes, it goes to the freezer, and then you're going to spray with the yellow colored white chocolate sauce. After that, there's only one last step left over. It's stick the corn leaf.
Now, just for that little extra touch, what is this right here?
So this is the corn leaf that we made with the green colored chocolate, and then there is a corn powder on the top.
Just warm it so it'll adhere a little bit
so
better.
It has a steamed chocolate layer.
And that is it. That is the corn dessert.
Yeah. So let's cut. There is a sablé at the bottom, and then there is a corn cake, caramel, the creamer that we made, and the grilled corn cream.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's
enjoy it.
You first, You really get those layers of texture and flavor. It's amazing.
People really love the sablé part as well, like the crunchiness at the end.
As long as you have Lysée, do you think this dish is always going to be on the menu?
I think if I remove it, people are gonna be upset. So for now, it's going to be
Don't make them upset. You should keep it. It's good enough to keep. Thank you so much, Chef. I appreciate it.
Thank you.